Hello potatoes, we are going to have another deck profile today, and that deck profile is... I think you all guys already know what deck profile will be.
Yeah, it was posted on the thumbnail actually.
And yes, it's the new Duel Jaeger deck profile.
Yay!
And of course, when we are discussing about Ancient World, especially the dual thingies, we'll have to invite Mr. Sun here, who's been playing Ancient World since the ancient times.
Thank you for always having me here. It's another great opportunity to discuss this deck again. As I've been told, some of you have been requesting the new Duel Jaeger's deck after the Driven to Disorder came out. So, as kind-hearted and generous as I am, let me bring my deck recipes to you guys. Okay, these are the flag and the buddies as usual. My lovely cutie Kong. Okay, let's put them aside first. Okay, basically the new Duel Jaeger deck after the Driven to Disorder came out is, I think one of the best build right now is the Dynamite Mark 2.0 Dynamite Turbo deck. The main idea of the deck is you need to call Duel Jaeger Dynamite as fast as you can, and you can even call him on your second turn actually, when you move second.
Twice.
And if you're lucky enough, you can call him twice. So that makes it a total of 10 plus attacks. Okay. To start with, here's the new card, the new star of the deck, Seeker of Superior Strength, Duel Jaeger. Okay, it's another new base Jaeger from Driven to Disorder. I play 4 of them in my deck. Okay. I'm giving you guys a clearer look of this card. His skill is, it has call cost of put up to 2 cards from a drop zone into this card's soul and pay 3 gauges. It's a little expensive for a base Jaeger actually, but wait until you see his skill. Counteract, choose a size 3 Dragonship Emperor monster other than a Seeker of Superior Strength Duel Jaeger in your drop zone, other than this card, and you may discard a card from your hand. If you do, call the chosen card on top of this card without paying its call cost. Besides, it also has a double attack and soul guard. Okay, so by using this new Duel Jaeger, you can transform into any Duel Jaeger from your drop zone and put it on top of this card without paying its call cost. And the main Duel Jaeger we are going to use in this, by utilizing this effect, is to call Dynamite from your drop zone. And then, if you have another Dynamite in your hand, you can just pay another 3 gauges and call the Dynamite on top of the Dynamite you called from your drop zone. So it's a total of double attack plus twice quadruple attack, so that means 10 attacks in a turn. Okay, and this Jaeger, you don't need to only call Dynamite, you can also call another Jaegers from your drop zone, like the Ocean Champion or another Jaegers I'm going to introduce later in this deck list, so stay tuned. Put 4 of them here. And the next one is the card I've already mentioned, Duel Jaeger Dynamite. Okay. Because this is also the main attacker of this deck, I'm playing 4 of them. Okay. This is an old card actually, Evolution Jaeger, which has quadruple attacks. Okay. The thing you need to pay attention to is, to call Duel Jaeger Dynamite, you need to have at least 15 Dragonship Emperor in your drop zone. And it's a card condition, not a call cost, so when you are going to use the previous Duel Jaeger I showed you, you also need to have at least 15 Dragonship Emperor in the drop zone. It's not a call cost, so you also need to fulfill that requirements. The call cost for Duel Jaeger Dynamite is to put this card on top of a Duel Jaeger and pay 3 gauges. It has a quadruple attack, and I think this is still the best offensive Jaeger up till now. The next one is another Duel Jaeger we've been loving since the ancient times. Ocean Champion Duel Jaeger. Okay, don't be confused by the name, it has been corrected by Bushiroad since long ago. Okay, I'm using this card because it is a very technical and you can use it to salvage any cards from your drop zone into your hand. So, well, you can look for lots of cards in your drop zone and put it back into your hand, and that's very useful actually. And another card is Great Pirate Captain Kaido. Oh, I just can't imagine a dual Dragon Chief Emperor decks without Captain Kaido. He's just very useful. You can just basically put any card in this card of soul on the field into the owner's hand. So that means including also your opponent's cards. And if you need another card from the soul of your card on the field, you can just add it into your hand. Okay?
That card is really technical. Like, for example, you can use this Jaeger's call cost and add something into his soul, then take it back to your hand with Kaido, and that play is just so technical.
Yeah, you really need to know how to utilize each card's skill. Yeah. Okay, Captain Kaido. And the next one is the last size 3s in this deck. Overturn Chief Duel Jaeger and Duel Jaeger Gaia Bust. Okay, let me just discuss it one by one. The first one is Duel Jaeger Gaia Bust. It's a new Duel Jaeger that came out in Driven to Disorder. It's another evolution Duel Jaeger which it has triple attack, Soul Guard, and Lifelink 4. It has a skill if you have 15 or more Dragon Chief Emperor in your drop zone. This card gets critical +1 and penetrate. And you also need to remember this skill, the counter skill. During the battle of this card, you may pay 2 gauge. If you do, for this battle, this card gets power +10,000 and defense +10,000. Actually, sometimes before, I did a mistake by forgetting this skill, and I lost a very important match because of it. And I'm still feeling very salty right now because of it. Yeah, you can when it is a mini dynamite, actually you can use it in your deck as a mini dynamite. So when you have attacked with this Duel Jaeger twice and you still don't have 15 Dragon Chief Emperor in your drop zone, you can just use his skill to call Gaia Bust from your drop zone and put it on top of it. So you get another extra triple attack. Well, it's not a quadruple attack, but it's also very aggressive, very offensive play. And if you still don't have 15 of them and you can get the extra critical, you can utilize his second skill and pay 2 gauges to increase his power and defense. And by paying 2 gauges when you have 15 or more by paying the gauges, and it will also get the extra critical by it. So don't forget the second skill. It's very important. I remind you once again. Okay. After Gaia Bust, we have Overturn Chief Duel Jaeger. I only play one of it simply just because it has the power of Overturn. The only Overturn you can use in Ancient World, actually.
Yeah, it's not bad actually.
Yeah, it's actually not bad, but because it is not the main focus of this deck, sometimes when you use this Overturn skill, it's not rare that you will get only 1 or 2 monsters inside his soul. But when you are using him in your first turn and you get 4 criticals or 5 criticals and give it to your opponent, I think it still hurts so much. So it's actually not a bad card, but because it's not the main focus of the deck, I think I'm only going to play only one of them aside. Okay. And that's all for the size 3s. I think I'm going to continue to the only size 2s in my deck. 4 of Chief of Healing Rain. The star, the idol of Dragon Chief Emperor since they first came out. Chief of Healing Rain. Their skills are actually pretty simple. When you have a size 3 on your field, you can just discard from your hand, and then you can charge 1, put 1 card from the top of your deck into a soul of card on your field and heal 1. Okay, so you get how many pluses there? 2 pluses. Okay, it's a very good card without any disadvantages. And then moving on to the next card is Underling Bad Guy Motto. Another card of Dragon Chief Emperor we've been using since they first came out. Bad Guy Motto, his skill is when another size 3 Dragon Chief Emperor monster on your field battles, you can discard this card from your hand and then increase the battling monster's attack power and defense by 5,000, and then you can draw 1 card. Okay? And also don't forget to pay 1 life for its cast cost, activation cost. Okay. It's actually a defense card for this deck. Moving on, we have this combi. These partners, Underling Battery Den and Underling No Curve Stay. Their skills are activated when they are in the monster soul. Stay's skill is when it's in a monster soul, that card cannot be destroyed by another monster skill. And Battery Dance, when it's in a monster soul, when that monster is attacking, you can charge 1 from the top of your deck, and that ability only activates once per turn. In this deck, I play 2 Stay and 1 Battery Den only. Well, simply because they are a very good support card for your Jaeger, and it's not going to be wasted if you got them in your hand. You can just pay 1 life and just plug it inside your Duel Jaeger. It's a good card actually. And then my buddy Apprentice Underling Kong. As the buddy, I play 4 of them, and because their skill is so good in this deck, because it helps milling your deck and it helps you to get the cards you need into your hand. Okay, because the main focus of the deck is to mill as fast as you can to call Dynamite and utilize Gaia Blast Penetrate skill. I think I don't really need to explain Kong too much because I've been discussing him in our previous video. Well, I think that's all for the monsters, and now let's go to the spells. The first one is Deluge of Life, another new card from Driven to Disorder. Their skill is, it's a set spell card. When a card is put from your deck into the drop zone, you can draw a card. This ability only activates once per turn. And then the next ability is Counter. You can put this card from the field into the drop zone. When you do, for this turn, nullify the life link of all size 3 monsters on your field. And you may only set Deluge of Life, one of them on the field. Okay, so what's the good point of this card is because this deck mainly mills cards from your deck. So when you mill a card, you still draw another card from your deck. So it's very useful. And then the second skill, which nullifies the life link. Like I said before, when you can call 2 Dynamites in 1 turn by using this deck. So when you are having this sticker of superior strength and then you put another dynamite on it, then after it hits your opponent 4 times, when you want to call another dynamite, you put on top of it. The dynamite on the bottom is considered removed from the field, so you get the life link. But if you have a deluge of life set on your field, you can just sack it, put it into the drop zone and nullify the life link. So you can call 2 dynamites in the turn without getting the damage from life link. Okay, so basically Deluge of Life is a very good supportive card for this deck. Okay, another new card I've been putting in this deck is Dragon Soul Infusion. Okay, I think this is a better version of Dragon Emperor Legend actually. Why? Because first it mills 2 cards. The skill is you can mill 2 cards, and if among them they have Dragon Chief Emperor, you can charge 1 and draw 1. Okay, it's better than Dragon Emperor Legend because first it mills 2 cards, which helps you to call Dynamite or Gaia Burst faster. And the second, you also get the plus effect by charging and draw another card. And if you're using this while you have Deluge of Life on your field, you can basically mill 2 cards, charge 1 and draw 2 cards. Well, it's a very good card that gives you lots of advantages and lots of answers if you are having a very bad hand. Okay, the next spell is Reflection Dragon Moon. Okay, I play 3 of them in my deck. I think I've discussed about this card before. Pay 1 life, put the top card of your deck into the gauge, and put up to 1 size 3 Dragon Chief Emperor and drops it into your hand. Okay, I think it's a very good card, and I don't think I really need to explain that much again about this card. Okay, it actually doesn't really have to fulfill the combo in this deck, but this thing helps because this deck usually mills cards from the top of your deck, and you don't know what cards are going to be milled. So when you need a card from your drop zone that is being milled by your skills, you can just put it back into your hand by Reflection Dragon Moon. Okay, another spell is Amish Dragons. Its skill is to put the top 3 cards of your deck into your drop zone, and then put the top card of your deck into your gauge. Then, if all cards put in your drop zone by these cards' cast cost were Dragon Chief Emperor, for this turn, a Dragon Chief Emperor on your field gets critical +1. Okay, I'm using this card because first, it helps to fill your drop zone faster, and the second, you can also use this and combo it with Deluge of Life to draw another card. And third, it can also increase the critical of your Dragon Chief Emperor on the field by 1. Just imagine if you are being attacked by a critical 3 Dynamite or a critical 4 Gaia Burst in 1 turn. I think that will hit your opponent pretty hard. Okay.
Can you explain the fun combo you can do with this card?
What fun combo actually?
You see, Deluge of Life skill is when a card is put from your deck into your drop zone, and you can draw a card.
I see.
The skill is not limited only during your turn, so if you really need something, you really need to draw something, you can just cast these Amish Dragons on your opponent's turn just to charge 1 and mill 3, and then by using Deluge of Life you can still draw 1 during your opponent's turn. Yeah, that combo is actually not a really good one, but sometimes you really need to draw, like for example you really have a very bad hand.
Yeah,
you can just draw during your opponent's turn.
Yeah, it's also a thing you need to pay attention to. When you're desperate, you can just use it in your opponent's turn and draw another card there. So it's not bad, but
It's also not very good.
it's also not very good. Yeah, right. Yeah. But you need to remember that I myself forgot just now. Okay. Another spell is Ocean Emperor style Whirlpool Seal. It's another defense card I'm using in this deck. Its skill is to pay 1 gauge and pay 1 life to rest a monster on your opponent's field. Okay, this card is pretty good to be used in a deck with double attacks or penetrates that's been roaming everywhere, or just to nullify the hex double attack butts. It will hit your opponent really hard when they've been using the overthrow, pay 1 gauge, pay 3 gauge, discard 1 hand, and then you just counter and throw this card. I can't imagine just how salty it will taste. Okay. And then finally, a card I've been feeling very excited about from this set is the new head for Dragon Chief Emperor named the Pulse Headgear. Okay. His equip cost is to pay 1 gauge and pay 1 life, the same as the old hats. And then this card can attack even if you have monsters on your center, also the same. And then his main skill is you can put 2 cards from the top of your deck into the drop zone. If there's a Dragon Chief Emperor among them, you can charge 2 from the top of your deck. Okay, my deck is actually all of them are Dragon Chief Emperor, so when you're using Pulse Headgear or Dragon Soul Infusion, you're guaranteed to activate their skills, so you don't need to worry about that. There's been a time when I put Dragon Emperor Legend. It's not a Dragon Chief Emperor, and I lost a match just because I milled them. I can't activate any skills because Dragon Emperor Legend is not a Dragon Chief Emperor. I think that's pretty confusing. Their names just sounded almost the same.
Yeah.
Is it okay if I just refer Dragon Chief Emperor as Liu Bancho from now?
You can also say DCE.
Yeah, I can also say
more better.
DCE. Yeah, I think I can also say DCE. Okay, so this is the main deck I've been using for some time right now. The main combo is to call this Seeker of Superior Strength, mill lots of cards from the top of your deck by using Dragon Soul Infusion, the Amish Dragons, Pulse Headgear, Conan Call, or everything to fill your drop zones faster.
Even by discarding Healing Ring.
Yeah, even by discarding Healing Ring, or just utilizing Kaido, he needs to pay gauges also. And then call Dynamite, and if you have another Dynamite in your hand, put it on top of it again to have a minimum of 10 plus attacks in a turn. Yeah. So this is a very aggressive turbo deck, but it also needs a very technical play to really utilize the combos and maximize its potential. Okay, there's actually some cards I've been thinking about putting inside the deck because just to maximize the Seeker of Superior Strength skill to transform into any Jaeger from the drop zone. Without cost. I've been thinking about making a toolbox Jaeger deck by also putting these 2 cards, one of them each, into the deck just to maximize the Duel Jaeger skill. The first one is the very extravagant Duel Jaeger Revolted. As most of us know, this card hasn't been very good since the first time it came out because of this lifelink boost.
Defense 3000.
And his defense only 3000, despite he has a very thick soul of minimum 8. Okay, But because the Seeker of Superior Strength, you can call Revolted without paying his call cost, which is pay 3 gauge, and put this card on top of a monster without soul, with Duel Jaeger in its card name, and put 8 Dragon Chip Emperor from your drop zone into this card's soul. So you can just call this card to use his skill, which is, if this card in your center, you cannot be dealt damage by effects from your opponent's cards. So you can call Duel Jaeger Revolted to counter cards that have Penetrate, or decks like Athora, which give you 1 damages by his overturn, or just to nullify any impact that deals you damages. Well, you can just call Duel Jaeger Revolted, even though he won't get any souls inside.
Sorry to interrupt. Another one good thing about the Seeker of Superior Strength is you can use his counter call skill during your opponent's turn too. So if your opponent is attacking your Superior Strength, you can just counter and, for example, call Revolted on top of it, so the attack will miss target, and you won't get any Penetrate after that if you're facing, for example, a Penetrate deck. So yeah, I think that's actually a pretty good idea to run 1 Revolted in the deck.
Yep. And then another Jaeger I've been thinking is Duel Jaeger God Vortoise. It also has almost the same cost as Revolted, which is you only can call him by putting it on top of a Jaeger without soul in your field. But because Seeker of Superior Strength doesn't need to pay call cost, you can just call him anytime. And his skill is, this card on your field cannot be addressed and its abilities cannot be nullified by effects from your opponent's cards. And the soul of this card cannot be put to the drop zone by effects from your opponent's cards. So when you're facing decks like Toilets or
Oni Assassin, or basically every katana deck,
or just any katana deck that uses half your double loss, you can just put God Vortoise, play God Vortoise on your field, and just give your opponent a hard time.
Your opponent cannot snake gaze God Vortoise.
Your opponent cannot snake gaze, cannot use the only assassin impact,
because the snake gaze is afraid of God Vortoise. Cannot snake gaze him.
Okay, and another card you can also use is the new impact from Driven to Disorder, unmatched in all seas, Birth of a Chief. I actually really love the name and the art of this card. His skill is you need to pay 1 gauge, choose a size 3 monster in your field, and put a card from your drop zone and this card into the chosen card's soul. So you put 2 cards into the soul of a card in your field. If this card is in the soul of a size 3 monster, abilities of that card and this card cannot be nullified. Well, just the same when you are facing toilet decks or decks that nullify your opponent's abilities like Style of Justice Jackknife. Yeah, you can put this card inside, maybe from your sideboard, or you just put 1 or 2 into your main decks. Just depends on what decks your friends in your areas are playing actually. And another one is Soaring Dragon Spirit. Oh, it's not Soaring Dragon Spirit. Buddyfight Triple T like Kaido. Okay. It's the PR version for Soaring Dragon Spirit. You can pay 1 gauge to destroy a size 1 or less monster on your opponent's field, and destroy a spell on your opponent's field. So you can pay 1 gauge to destroy 2 cards on your opponent's field. I usually put this card into my deck when I'm facing Thunder Emperor's Fangs, just to destroy their Black Sand Castle or those annoying size 1 monsters, Tomonoshi, Spear, and their anything. Yep, I think there are so many players playing Thunder Emperor's Fangs now, so this is still a pretty good card to be put inside the main deck. but I'm okay. There are many players are playing Fire Emperor's Fangs right now, so it's a very good card to be put inside the main deck. But I'm not using it because it doesn't really help with the combos, the main combo of this deck actually. So it also a card you put inside the main deck depending on the areas you're playing in. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to tell about the new Dragon Chief Emperor deck, Dynamite Turbo Mark 2.0, I guess. I think, in my opinion, this is still the best Duel Jaeger build up till now. It's very efficient, it's very offensive, but it also doesn't forget how to defend. But
It's very consistent.
it's very
The consistency of the deck is awesome.
Yeah, it's very hard for you to have a breaking hand. It's very easy, and it's very easy to complete the combo actually. Okay, I think that's all. You can try playing this deck, and if you have any better suggestions or just any new ideas, you can just put it in the comment section below, and we will also try to implement it in our decks. Okay, any other things to say? No?
I don't. Oh, there is one.
There's one thing you need to say. What is it?
Hyper Potatoes
Signing out.